Xavier Harrison Khan. As you've heard on the other takes, I've been working for International. You know a little bit about me already. Everybody in the company knows my role with TTS. I work internally for Turner sometimes. We have client direct. So I'm in a lot of meetings. I couldn't connect with Vivek last night, and I caught his colleague Michelle, and also a part of Turner Malaysia. So we got the Mid Autumn Festival part done. She described what Mooncake Festival is in Malaysia. So it has a slightly different title compared to what we call it in the U.S. And Vivek Khanif is representing Turner Malaysia, but in Malaysia, Diwali is actually called Deepavali. So he's going to describe a little bit about the traditions that he experienced with this holiday in Malaysia, and we might go into a little bit deeper conversation, a quick one, just like we did with Michelle. So Vivek for short. Go ahead and describe a little bit about yourself, who you've been working with Turner. He knows Graham Dewar. Graham Dewar is an old friend of mine. Graham started in Philadelphia, was in Malaysia around the same time. Totally different scopes on the same tower, and now he's the GM of the Austin business unit. So he was a personal mentor of Vivek, and Vivek will talk a little bit about him, and then talk about the traditions that he sees for the holiday in Malaysia. Over to you.
Hi, good day, everyone. Thank you, Xavier, for the great introduction and also introduction about Graham. He has been really meaningful and helpful throughout my Turner experience. So my name is, of course, you can just address me Vivek. I've been with Turner Malaysia for 5 years right now. Completed successfully one project with client Sime Darby, a property developer. So that's Kantara Residences. Also won the Engineering News Record Award.
So I didn't know you worked on
Right.
Kantara.
I had the most projects because the team is so great and we won awards. Right. So after that, after the completion, I moved on to Merdeka 118 Tower, which is now soon to be a second tallest building in the world. So we should be completing by end of next year or mid of next year for the significant part.
And
so
I got to throw this fact in there. Even though it's second tallest in the world must remember it's going to be the tallest, most sustainable building in the world. And I've been working on this for 10 years. It's a pride for me as a regional sustainability manager for Turner Construction. But that's a whole nother story. Go ahead. Back to you.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm the engineering manager and currently still in this project and doing my best to contribute and make this project another successful and also probably another award-winning project.
You're going to be there, man. Don't worry about it.
So that's a very short introduction. So Deepavali, right? So I think you got it right. So there's a big difference between regions and countries. Diwali is widely like a different language or different community, but the reason is the same. So I also understand there are like 5 days of celebration in India for these festivals. In Malaysia, it's a bit different. We don't actually categorize it as 5 days. It's just a 1-day festival. So how do we celebrate traditionally? It's a journey in the morning, right? So wake up very early in the morning before the sunrise, have an oil bath because there's some significant reason for it to actually cleanse yourself of all impurities, etc. So after the oil bath, you start with small prayers to the deities and all, and then get blessings from your family, your fathers and mothers if they are there. So after that, have a sumptuous breakfast, a lot of traditional food, sweets, special dishes. I can't recall a specific special dishes, but it really tastes different on that specific day. I don't know what's the reason. Maybe because his mom cooked with extra taste and extra flavors.
Are the dishes more sweet or are they more savory? Because I remember hearing from the India team, it's almost like the perfect balance. And I can't remember because when I celebrated Deepavali in Malaysia, it was a long time ago, but I can't remember if the dishes were more sweet versus savory or a balance in between. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a balance in between, but over the years, yeah, I just find that the sweetness part is greatly reducing for some reason. Maybe we are more health conscious and we don't want to like end up with a lot of sugar content. So I just yeah, if I'm visiting my grandmother's house like 10 years ago when I was a kid, the mornings are just too sweet. You just have to eat and all those, and now I don't see that trend anymore for some reason. You can still find that delicacies, the sweet stuff, but it's more in restaurants or during a ceremony with a lot of public around you, or a great crowd. So during Deepavali, it's more like mixture of things. The small sweetness is getting lesser, but we still have bits and there just for the taste of it.
Okay.
So yeah, so it
And the
travels there, right?
fasting part is interesting too, because I've told people before, half my family's Christian, half my family's Muslim. There's a small population that's Hindu, etc., etc. But the fasting part in Malaysia kind of reminds me of a little bit of a ties to the Malaysian culture for Ramadan. You go through the fast, it cleanses you out, but then after the fast, you have a big celebration. Like you said, you start enjoying the traditional foods.
Yeah. So during this process, of course, after you have your oil bath, you wear new clothes. So it could be, most of them are traditional clothes with a lot of colors. Later, I'll share some pictures over the last 2 years what we had on recent years. So new clothes, and it just carries forward. So from a small family start, and some of the family also goes for temples. But for me, I would prefer to stay with family because I find that the most important people during the celebration. So after your blessing with family, and then it slowly transitioned to friends and neighbors, etc. Because in Malaysia, this particular day is actually a general public holiday. So no one works
Yes.
on that day. It gives the opportunity and the chance for any races. In Malaysia, we have major races, Malay, Chinese, and other people, right? So because it's a public holiday, people are very free to move around, and we do invite them. That is like a tradition that during lunchtime, your family comes over, the friends, neighbors comes over, enjoys the meal. So from
Yeah.
individual celebration it starts off with, and then it slowly expands to community. And even towards the dinner, we could be out of the house visiting relatives, more Malay friends, or even have open house throughout the day. And of course, the fun part being is fireworks, right? Firecrackers. So at night,
Firecrackers.
have we just light up and make everyone noisy around. So in a day, in short, that's how Deepavali goes in a day for me.
And Vivek, did you know? So this might have been before you joined Turner, and I can't remember how old you are, but that's okay. Maybe you were working somewhere else. Maybe you were still in uni. But Doug went to a Deepavali celebration. Like you said, the whole country is off. So as Americans, we were there and we were like, "Oh, we have this day off, but it's not one of our holidays." But a colleague would invite us over, like you said, open house. So we would go find I went, not costume is not the proper word, but traditional dress. We went down to oh my god, I can't remember the area, Kuala Lumpur, where they had a lot of like the Indian traditional dress. But we bought these outfits and we will go to the open house, and we had a great time. I have pictures, and maybe I'll try to send it to the program and tell Doug. Remember, we had fun on this night.
Let me guess,
And
is that Brickfields? It could be
yes,
Brickfields.
Brickfields.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
I can
Brickfields.
see.
Yes. So all of us American expats were running around Brickfields, Kuala Lumpur, to buy these traditional outfits so we can look and try to not assimilate and just appreciate the open house and celebration that we were taking part in for this holiday.
Yeah. So
And
besides
and
its
like you said, it's a
community,
mix of cultures.
yeah, besides the community, right? Even like
Yeah,
big corporations and importantly, shopping malls or even politicians, they have rent
correct.
this huge hall and welcome anyone. Doesn't matter if we're celebrating or not, just come in and enjoy the free food. So,
Exactly.
so in a way that creates the atmosphere, like everyone comes together and appreciates, and they acknowledge that this is some sort of celebration that everyone enjoys and shares. And also, whoever understands the reason, they know the importance, like get rid of bad stuff, cleanse yourself, and do much better things forward.
Yeah, I agree.
So Brickfields is
The
one of
most
the
important
places.
thing is you take a break from work. You appreciate your family. Like you said, you go to the inner, most close circle, but then you work your way out. Family, your closest friends, colleagues are a part of that because you see your colleagues, 8 to 10 hours, maybe even more, and then you work your way out to outreach the community. So I
Right.
agree.
Yeah, so the only effect now because of the pandemic or any restrictions that we face, I would just have to see the differences, right, over the last 2 years. I think last year in Malaysia during Deepavali, it was a lockdown. It was not a strict lockdown because it was showing signs of recovery.
Yeah.
So we had the chance of going out, so, but the fear started to happen from there onwards. So the fear of gathering in large places really restricted that effort. So it somehow impacted in that way. And this year, I think early November will be the Deepavali for this year.
Correct.
Since in Malaysia now, I think it's good that we have come about this interstate travel. It's a bit opened up. Tourism is taking place. So I think there are some good positive signs that this Deepavali will be like almost restoring to the normal. But the fear is always there that you need to be careful where you're going. There are more SOPs, face masks, of course. You can't don your beautiful makeups. You still have to wear a face mask. Yeah, things like that going on.
So you can't be Chantique or that's the lady, the word for being beautiful, but I can't remember what handsome is. But my Malay is losing as I become more and more back to the States. But
Yeah,
no,
you got it right. Chante is
I
beautiful.
appreciate those comments.
Yeah.
So Vivek, if you don't mind answering, so what do you know about? Like you said, there's a lot of races and diversity in Malaysia. What do you know about Mooncake Festival? Because that's also kind of celebrated during the same time. Do you have any answers to contribute? I know you're aware of the holiday. Do you know much about it, or um, is there anything that you can say to the audience about? Okay, as a predominantly person that celebrates Diwali, Deepavali, do you know much about the Mid Autumn Festival or the Mooncake Festival?
Yeah.
And it's okay
So
if you don't know much. That's fine. Don't worry. No pressure. Nobody will judge.
yeah, okay, it's okay. I answer that. For sure, I know about the festival, but unfortunately, it's not a public holiday, so we still got to
Oh,
work, right?
okay.
But the greater part is actually, I know the festival is about lanterns, lighting up lanterns and let it float either in the water or the sky.
Yeah.
If you are in a city area because you are living in a close community, you have Chinese neighbors, you have other races around, so you do observe that these things suddenly come out on the just out of the garden. You see a lantern coming out, then you realize, oh, okay, it's Mooncake Festival. At the same time, if you go to the shopping mall, the one great thing about here is shopping malls get decorated for any events, any
Yes, they
significant
do.
events.
Christmas
So
included.
yeah,
Yeah.
Christmas included, even though it's not a major celebration here.
Right.
Uh, Deepavali gets decorated, Chinese New Year. So even Mooncake Festival, they do tend to have activities like for children to make own their lanterns, make color painting, and of course the savory part is the delicacy part is the mooncake itself. So my parents used to buy for some reason, just buy and come and enjoy it, even though you're not celebrating. So as I understand, it's more of a Thanksgiving
Yeah.
ceremony. It's something like
That's true.
that. So lanterns, when I was a kid, I used to play lanterns as well. Like just lit up and let it float. Um, yeah, that's about it. Our experience or encounter with Mooncake Festival.
And I think that's a good way to put it because not everybody from Turner, USA gets to experience, I've seen Southeast Asia for 5 years, so I was able to connect the dots. Well, this holiday is kind of like Thanksgiving, a little bit of Christmas here, New Year's celebration here. I got that perspective, but for one day when the audience is looking at this a week from now, or they look at the recording, they'll be able to appreciate. Okay, their minds will open up a little bit more to understanding what the holidays are that we celebrate in other countries.
Yeah.
Right here in the U.S. Appreciate the feedback.
Okay.
So then the last question is literally, what would you recommend? Anybody that wants to celebrate the Diwali, Deepavali, what would you recommend for them to jump into?
I would say clothing, the most easiest accessible things.
Clothing. Okay.
Yeah, clothing, right? So because once you wear it, it's just not for you. Whoever is going to see you on the street or outside is going to recognize, hey, what are you wearing? So once you expose yourself with those kind of ornaments or decorations, you automatically get into the mood and creates that sensation, right? Um, so and that's not difficult to get, I'm sure, because of all this e-commerce
Yeah.
stuff or whichever you can order anywhere from the world. Just get your sizes correct, or even get a tailor who's probably an Indian who knows how to sew. You can actually don those apparels and walk around. I think that will give a great start. And if you're more of a reader, like likes to read books, just read about any articles, even or podcast or anything to do with how this celebration came about. So you will actually know the stories and reasoning behind it. And if you are the positive person, you just gather all those good messages in that story. Even Deepavali has so many versions of stories. I mean, India is just so many stories, right? I mean, how it actually originated, where some victory happened, and then the bitterness over the evil. That's why you light up the lamp. So things like that, right? So once you start reading, you'll slowly embrace the knowledge and the best part of the celebration. And most importantly is gathering communities. I think that's the most key aspect of the celebration.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time. If you got anything else to say, we are going to try to share this too. It's going to hit all the New York business unit, maybe a few other business units. It's definitely going to come back to hit all of the international business all employees, so everybody can take a look and see how we kind of connected cultures here.
Sure. I really appreciate
Thanks,
this
Vivek.
opportunity. Thank you so much and have
No,
a
I appreciate you making the time, and thank you for bearing with me because I've been all over the place. But you definitely helped make it valuable.